Welcome back, everyone. It is I yet again, the Ninja Nick 333. We are doing this time Pokemon Knoxville Regional Championships. We have the first round of the day that has been streamed here. Rahul Reddy versus Samuel Liggett, which is Regis versus Mew VMAX. It's a pretty 50-50 matchup in my opinion. As you can see, Rahul Reddy is checking in the 1 Cape of Toughness for this event. That is because he was expecting Reggie mirrors due to how well he performed at the previous tournament. I believe it was OCIC that he did well with Regis. So, really just a tech to counter his own deck. The thing that Cape of Toughness could come in with is the fact that Mew will be less likely to be able to Psychic Leap onto a Reggie. You usually have to use a bunch of the power tablets in order to Psychic Leap on a Reggie since they have so much HP. As you can also see there in Rahul's hand, we have a Professor's Research Fighting Energy. That is a basic fighting energy being used as a proxy. One of the judges wrote Professor's Research on it, and I believe probably signed their own name. I believe one of Rahul's opponents earlier in the day did destroy his full art Professor's Research that he was playing. Of course, the Juniper one, because Rahul knows which is the best Professor's Research, apparently. But yeah, so now he has to play the whole tournament with a basic energy that is written on, since his research was destroyed, which is very unfortunate for him. Luckily, that card is not very expensive whatsoever, but just very important to make sure that you never destroy your opponent's cards. I would not have been surprised. I didn't hear if his opponent got any sort of penalty for destroying the card, but whether intentional or not, you cannot go and completely obliterate your opponent's cards like that. So I would have liked to see his opponent get a penalty of some sort for that, because it doesn't matter whether it's a very inexpensive card like Professor's Research being like less than $4, or if it was something a lot more expensive like, say, maybe a Boss's Orders. But looks like the Mew does go first. Just doing some Mew things. We're quick balling, we're using Rotom Phone, we're stacking things to the top of the deck. Not looking too good at this point. You don't like to see a Rotom Phone this early before you get multiple Genesects in play, because at this point right now it's going to probably be looking like Sam might just be using the Genesect for 1, or he might be just making his top deck more live, and that is really bad. That is a really bad start for Sam here. We do see the immediate escape rope here from Rahul if he is able to just get going. Yeah, I think he had to explain what his Professor's Research is. Yeah, as long as Rahul is able to get all the Regis in play, he did just discard 2 energies off of that Professor's Research, so he will be able to take the turn 1 knockout on the Mew V, most likely. Let's see, so we are at 220 with the Registeel minus 0, because the Mew V has a free retreat. So yeah, that Registeel can even stay active. You don't even need to scoop it up or anything like that. We just need to see Rahul have 1 more energy, even just an attach for turn, plus the other 2 Regis to bench. We have the Rock. Looks like all we need is the Ice now. We get the knockout on Sam's only Mew V in play and basically win the game on turn 1. Looks like we get an Ultra Ball. We already have a Quick Ball, so just salt in the wound there. Rahul is able to win game 1 instantaneously on turn 1, getting 2 Auroras and a Speed Lightning energy into his discard pile, all 6 Regis into play. He can now use Ancient Wisdom to stack those 3 energies, the 2 Aurora, 1 Speed Lightning, to this Registeel, hit the Mew V for 220, knock it out, leaving Sam with only a Genesect in play on his second turn of the game, while Rahul is still able to attack with anything he has in play. If I were Sam, I would just scoop it up and go to the next game. I would not even bother playing this out from here. They still have 45 minutes on the clock. That is a ton of time for another 2 games. Looks like we are, for Sam, going to continue trying to get going from here. But at this point, you don't have any access to Battle VIP passes anymore. You can only play those on turn 1. So it's going to be very unlikely that Sam can get set up. And even if he can, he's going to have to put something like a Genesect or an Oricorio up in the active spot so that a Mew V does not get knocked out on this next turn, knowing that Rahul can knock out anything that you have in the active spot. It's just pretty rough here. I mean, I guess Rahul does need a choice belt in order to guarantee a knockout on a Genesect, but still, I think off of this Marnie is pretty likely you'll be able to get there. Looks like he's got a couple of scoop up nets and an Ultra Ball even, for good measure, to draw extra cards with that Regidrago. So now Rahul can just retreat his active, play a couple of scoop up nets in the Ultra Ball, get his hand down to 0, just draw 4, hope to get the choice belt off of that, and even if you don't, you probably have access to another research or a Marnie to draw even further into your deck and try to guarantee that choice belt. Since he is playing the one of Cape of Toughness that is in the prize cards, he will only have access to 3 choice belts during this entire tournament. So it will be less likely to draw into that, but I think still pretty likely at this point. He's already dug a considerable amount through his deck already by playing the 1 research. So Sam here just still flailing away, trying to get any amount of Pokemon into play. But yeah, again, this is why I always say there is the importance of scooping when you 100% know that you are going to lose the game. Like in a matchup like this, Mew has to take single prize knockouts while Reggie can take a 3 prize knockout. When Reggie is already 2 prizes ahead and you're essentially getting your first Mew V down on the bench. I mean, Rahul, all he needs to do is boss or escape rope again. I do believe, since he's already played the escape rope and we saw the discard of boss, I do believe that that's probably all that he is playing. Oh, we even get the gift energy and the path. So yeah, I don't see any reason why it benefits Sam to continue playing this game unless he's really just looking to see what techs Rahul is playing. I mean, even this too, Rahul can just safely not even decide to burn more resources. He knows he's so far ahead, he can just go in with the Alecki and soften up the Mew V on the bench, so when it evolves into the VMAX, he won't even need the choice belt on the Regigigas in order to attack with that. So, again, yeah, that's pretty good play from Rahul here. And Sam has still nothing going for him because he still cannot play Battle VIP Pass, can only play Quick Balls and Ultra Balls to get 1 Pokemon in play at a time. He can only draw up to 3 cards with the Genesects in play right now. Already has a card in hand. Looks like he can replace that path, so he can actually draw with the Genesects, but again, at this point, I just believe it is far too late for him. We do see another Mew V. That will be an additional way to draw a card off of the next Genesect. We even see a Hero's Medal. That is a tech that not a lot of Mew players play. However, it is seen from time to time. If a Hero's Medal is on a Pokemon VMAX, it has 100 less HP, but it does give 1 less prize card when it is knocked out. Therefore, you have a 210 HP Mew VMAX, but it is a 2 prize Pokemon. So you can mess with the math for your opponent in certain matchups. You can eventually force them to knock out 3 Mew VMAXs in order for them to win the game, because one of those, you'll be left with 1 prize card remaining after the 2 knockouts because of the Hero's Medal. But you also make those knockouts easier with the Hero's Medal, so it's a little bit of a give and take there. We are going to use Rotom Phone yet again. We're just going to keep trying to dig. We've got 1 more Genesect in play that we can use. We've used the first 2 already. Sam is really going to be needing a Mew VMAX for that damaged one, and he's going to have to hope that Rahul is missing maybe the twin energy or an attach for turn. Yeah, he'll need the twin energy because he only has 3 regular energies in his discard. So Rahul's best follow-up will be the twin energy attached to the Regigigas, along with another Regieleki to put onto the bench. I think that Rahul can definitely get there. He has a good enough hand. He can put the Regidrago active, draw a couple cards, and then scoop up net it to put the Regigigas active. Give him a little bit more of a chance to draw into the twin energy. And again, yeah, after this next knockout, if Rahul is able to take it on a Mew VMAX, even if Sam gets the way to retreat, even if he gets the Mew VMAX, he's, you know, Sam is only taking 1 prize card and Rahul will likely be going down to 1. So is it okay to be essentially 5 turns behind on turn 2? I don't think so. But we are going to judge. Unfortunately, I think that, see, against Regis, Judge and Marnie really just don't do anything. They almost help them, in my opinion, because they could just have a dead hand and they would draw an extra few cards with the gift energy, but then you just, you know, you make them reshuffle their hand into their deck. They could draw a better 4. You knock them out, and then, oh, here is the gift energy. They draw into 7. They have a fresh hand of 7 cards. You're essentially judging them to 7, and that just feels really bad. Unless you are playing something along the lines of the Temple of Sinnoh. I do know that there is a guy from one of the locals that I play Winnaboxes at sometimes, is playing a Mew VMAX deck with Temple of Sinnoh, which is really counterintuitive in my opinion, because then you have to attach twice to a Mew. He's playing double turbos and basic psychic energies to try to counter things like the Regis and Lugia that rely on these special energies from working. However, cards like Lost City are just so much better. So as you can see, since Samuel does have the Lost City in play, the Regieleki that was just knocked out is Lost Zoned. So Samuel's other path to victory here could be just knocking out 3 Regielekis, Lost Zoning them all, or 2 of one of the Regis that Rahul only plays 2 copies of, which would be the rest of the brigade, as I call it. But again, at this point, you are just so far behind. We have a fully powered up Regieleki, the bad one as we call it. It has the electromagnetic sonar that allows you to take a trainer back from your discard, but you can also just snipe something on the bench for 120. It looks like he's going to take out the Genesect that was already softened up, giving him one more chance to get that Regigigas fully powered up. We already see Regigigas has a choice belt, has an energy on it, so as long as he is able to attach any energy from hand to the Regigigas next turn, along with getting another Regieleki in order to use the Ancient Wisdom, Rahul will just win the game after Sam takes his second prize card. So it looks like, oh, yep, we forgot to Lost Zone the Genesect V. Doesn't really matter too much, but decks like Mew do play Silene sometimes, so I guess it could come up if Silene is to be played on this last turn of the game here for Sam. And as I said before, when Sam essentially knew that he had lost was 9 minutes ago, so he would have 9 minutes more for a game 2. So again, why play this out when you know you are so far behind, when you can't win? Like Rahul already has pretty much everything he needs in play in order to just win the game. So why waste this extra now 10 minutes in order to just, you know, see a couple extra techs that might be in Rahul's deck? Again, this is a 50-50 matchup, but it really relies on Mew being able to get going on the second turn and then using Lost City on something like the Ice, Rock, or Drago in order to, or Steel, in order to Lost Zone those 2 ofs, and then Lost Zone, like, your opponent's only guy with energy on it, or just knock it out, and then all of a sudden they're unable to attack anymore. Reggie does need access to all 6 of its Reggie Pokemon in play, so if you can Lost Zone all copies of one of the Reggies, that is Mew's win condition, essentially. We do see the Roxanne, but again, Roxanne does not really do anything in this matchup. It will be, you know, putting Rahul to 2 cards in hand, but he will still draw to 7 with that gift energy. So the only way that Sam can be out of that is to be able to cross switcher this turn and knock out something that's not Alecki, but you've already devoted your Lost Zone strategy to the Alekkis. So it just feels weird and wrong. And now Sam notices that he is unable to win the game. So after that 11 minutes has passed of continuing to play this game after he already knew he lost, he now is able to go to a game 2 and hopefully 3 in order to turn this around. I know that there are a lot of newer players at these regional championships now. A lot of people say, oh, this is my first tournament. Oh, this is my first day 2. But you got to make sure that you have the time to play all 3 games should you need to go to a game 3. One of my friends, Alan, ended up with a lot more ties than he should have had because his opponents did not end up scooping when they already knew they lost. So it hurt both players by going to a tie instead of just going and seeing if one of the 2 players can get a win. Especially once you hit 2 losses, a 3rd loss does not do anything good for you. A tie does not do anything good for you. So you might as well skip the tie, just risk going for the loss or the win to try to get into day 2 still. You cannot play in day 2 if you do not get into day 2. So you do not want to take a loss or take a tie when you're already at 2 losses. So you get some really weird situations, like my friend Morgan was 4-1-4 at this tournament because his opponents, again, just weren't scooping when they should have. And you just end up with a whole bunch of extra ties. Also, I believe one player told my friend Alan that he was very much against gentlemen's agreements, thought it was against the spirit of the game, and then of course took a tie that just hurt both of them instead of going for the gentleman's agreement, allowing one of them to win the game, so as to not hurt both players. So again, you just got to use your brain a little bit sometimes when you're in these tournaments. There are essentially no packs given out for any placement. It's just CP, really. You don't get any additional like packs unless you get like top 64 or something stupid like that. You don't get any money until you get like top 32 or something stupid like that. They used to have a lot better prizing at these tournaments, and now these tournaments do not have as great a prizing, and we are at double the amount of players at minimum sometimes triple the amount of players. There were regional championships that used to have 400 players on average, usually around Virginia and things like that. So if we see the numbers for North Carolina, that's essentially the same regional area that is upcoming for this year. They're not doing Virginia this year, they're doing North Carolina instead. Very close, only like a couple hour drive difference. So Virginia was generally always a 400 to 500 person tournament. So we'll have to see, is that going to be another 1,200 person tournament again? Because every single regional so far this season has been around 1,200 people. And again, the ties just bring you down so far. 1 match point is a lot different than 3. So we are going to see Sam goes first again. He does get the Battle VIP pass this time, so maybe this will actually be a game. And remember, when he should have scooped was at 45 minutes. They are now at 31 minutes remaining. So we will see if Sam is able to win this game, if they even have time for game 3. A lot of games end up taking 25 minutes if they reach a natural progression. If both players are on even footing the whole game, the game will last 25 minutes. This is why Japan plays best of 1 30-minute rounds with no ties. I'm still on the bandwagon that Pokemon needs to start getting rid of ties. You can keep intentional ties. I think that that's fine. But I think that if you're going to reach natural progression in a game, you need to be able to, you need to just have more wins. It makes it a lot more fair for the players. It makes the day 2 a lot more towards the skilled players rather than people who just kind of got lucky being able to squeeze out a tie. But let's get off that subject and back into the game. We see a third Battle VIP pass. Rahul is laughing because he thinks this is ridiculous how it is the exact opposite of the last game. So Sam has 3 Mew Vs in play and 3 Genesects. I'm a little curious as to whether he will want to retreat a Mew out into a Genesect or if he's just going to want to leave the Mew V active. I don't think it's necessarily wrong either way. But Rahul will again want to do that crazy turn 1 start and just knock out a Mew V or a Genesect if he can. At the very least, he will want to get an attack off with the Regieleki, putting 40 onto 2 Mew Vs, which sets them up for Regigigas later in the game. Regigigas, for those who don't know, does 150 plus another 150 if the opponent's active Pokemon is a Pokemon VMAX. Since Mew has 310, you would be 10 damage short at the 300 mark. So you would either need Choice Belt or you would need bench damage to go down from the Aleki in order to make it under 300 HP left on the Mew VMAXs. And that is how Reggie tends to win its games. It either goes 2 Choice Belts on 2 Gigas, or it goes Regieleki, sniping 2 Mews, and then knocking them both out with Regigigas. So 2 different routes, 2 very clean routes. It also slows the Mew down by being able to put Path to the Peak in play turn 1. If it goes to a game 3, if Rahul just starts Path, what is Sam going to really do? Turn 1 Path against Mew is very detrimental. Mew does play Path to the Peak of its own, but it usually does not want to put that into play until after it has already set up. Looks like we are going to get a few Regis down here from Rahul. We also see an Ultra Ball in his hand with at least 1 Aurora Energy. I think maybe 2 Energy. Yeah, we see Aurora and Speed Lightning. So we are likely going to see both of those be Ultra Balled away. I think it would have also been correct to attach Speed Lightning to Regieleki in order to draw 2 more cards. If maybe you drew into another energy off those 2, you Ultra Ball those away. The Speed Lightning could also draw you into another Regi that you then wouldn't have to search out, and then you would have all 6 Regis. But either way, just guaranteeing the energy in your discard is perfectly fine as well. You could also draw into a better energy, like a gift energy would be pretty great here, just to guarantee the consistency of being able to continually set up your Regis every turn of the game from here on out once your opponent starts taking knockouts. We're going to have to see if Samuel is able to do that play with the Lost Cities, if he can Lost Zone 2 of the same Regis in order to prevent Rahul from being able to energy accelerate for the rest of the game after that. I think that it would not be incorrect for Mew decks that are fearful of Regi to be playing Avery. Avery is a really great card against the Regis. You can play the Avery and then play Lost City in order to make your opponent discard 2 Regis, and then you can also Lost Zone another all in the same turn. And it's really hard for Regis to come back from that. We are going to see the research is getting rid of a Scoop of Net Marnie Path. We also have another Aleki in discard at this point. Rahul is digging for the combo. He needs 1 more of the Pokemon. He has another Aurora Energy in discard, so that is all 3 energy he needs in order to attack. He has a Choice Belt on the Oh boy, onto the Regidrago as well. So that Dragon's Horde and Research ended up getting him exactly where he needs to be. He has another turn 1 attack with the Regis, and you can see whenever this deck ends up being consistent, it is extra powerful. We even get that gift energy attached for turn from the hand. That is everything Rahul could ever possibly want on this first turn. I wish I drew like that. My friend Morgan, who also played Regis at this event, wished he drew like that. And we are going to see a turn 1 knockout on a Mew V. Rahul is also considering putting down this Cape of Toughness. I don't see why not. It doesn't really benefit you too much in any way, but you can play it just to get it out of your hand, just so you can draw one more card with the gift energy when your Drago goes down. Since I do believe that that's a bit of a, bad card in the matchup. Looks like Rahul is now using the same digital notepad as well. Those are starting to grow on me. I thought paper was a little bit better, but since they clarified in the rules that you have to use a new sheet of paper every match, and I don't really do a lot of notes. I usually just write down my prize cards. It doesn't take up a lot of paper, so even on a very small notepad like I use, it's probably a notepad that's like maybe this big, it's just kind of a waste of paper. You can't really use both sides of the sheet. You can't use the same sheet for multiple rounds. So I think the digital notepads are actually pretty good. As long as your notepad does not send or receive messages. So you can't use like an iPhone or an iPad with like an Apple Pen or something, because those can technically send and receive messages. Even if they're on airplane mode, that still technically makes it against the rules. I usually wear a Fitbit if I'm playing in a tournament, but I always put that on airplane mode. So that's technically a gray area in the rules. I keep meaning to get myself a new regular watch to just wear at these events. Because sometimes I forget to charge my Fitbit, and then I don't have a watch for the tournament. And if I do charge it overnight, then sometimes I forget to put it on in the morning. Because otherwise I just wear it all through the night, because it tracks your sleep and stuff. But yeah, I gotta get like some cheap watch at Walmart. Then I can just throw it in my backpack, and then I like always have it for a Pokemon tournament, you know what I mean? So we are seeing the Mew get all sorts of set up. We are going to be bossing up the Regigigas. So this is the perfect spot that Mew wants to be in. It has the Regigigas active. That is the thing that threatens the Mew VMAXs from dying, It threatens the death of the Mew VMAX. So as long as you can Lost Zone both of Rahul's Regigigas, you should be able to just win the game off of that. But again, 22.5 minutes left for the match. So we're going to have to see if Sam can just continue to get there. We'll have to see if Rahul can also replace this Lost City with a Path to the Peak as well. Usually Mew only plays 2 path. Looks like Rahul is finally going for the Cape of Toughness here. He didn't get to draw with the gift energy because of the fact that a Pokemon with no energies was knocked out. Rahul may want to honestly even save the Gigas in his hand if he wants to attack with just the Regidrago. Also, if he does use Ancient Wisdom this turn to power something else up, he might want to have the ability to scoop up net it back into his hand so it does not get bossed or cross-switchered back up again and Lost Zoned. Just leave it in play to use the ability and then put it immediately back in your hand to save it from the Lost Zone. And that's when the Marnies and Judges could come into play, if you have to play around the Lost Zone like that. So again, Rahul is really hurting for a Path to the Peak right now. He is just going to hit for the 160 with Regidrago. And since he does have the Cape of Toughness on there, this Mew VMAX will not really be able to Psychic Leap onto this Regidrago this turn. It already can't attack because it used Techno Blast on the previous turn. And I believe he did use a couple of power tablets already, so far too much HP on those Regis right now. We are going to Quick Ball. Looks like getting rid of... Is that a... Oh, getting rid of the Roxanne. Okay. I think I would have... If you can cross-switch your Roxanne at the same time, that would be really good. So I don't know if I would have gotten rid of the Roxanne there. You wouldn't be able to do that this turn, but on the next turn, after Rahul takes a knockout and goes through the Roxanne prize mapping, you have to have 3 or less prize cards in order to have your opponent use a Roxanne on you. He still has 4 prize cards remaining here for Rahul. We are going to see the Pal Pad. That will put back in the Roxanne and the boss. So that is perfect. That is perfectly fine. Still would have liked to keep the Roxanne in hand. However, looks like we might be going for a Marnie as well here. Yeah, Rahul has a... I mean, I don't know if a Marnie here really matters. Because, again, you're going to be hitting into that gift energy. But it looks like Sam is just trying to draw as many cards as he can to get into his next Mew VMAX in order to be able to attack this turn. Since his active one was able to attack last turn with Techno Blast, it can't attack this turn. He is going to get rid of the Cape of Toughness. Again, that doesn't really matter in my opinion. Gets rid of the Path of his own from his hand, which is fine as well. He doesn't want to play that in this matchup. It doesn't benefit him to have Path to the Peak in play, since Regis does not play any Pokemon V in any capacity. We are going for the Rotom Phone. Hopefully we are going to see a Mew VMAX or a way to get it off of here. Looks like just a Quick Ball. So again, not really seeing much of anything good. We might need to play that Power Tablet out of his hand in order to draw an additional card. So yeah, Sam's not drawn too hot off of these Genesects and supporters here. I don't believe he's actually played a supporter yet, but might be trying to use the Genesects first and then Marnie. See if he can get into the double cross switcher. He does have Escape Rope as well. So that would be enough, actually. So he's going to play that. He'll probably put his Mew V active. That's going to force something up from Rahul that is not Drago. So that will keep energy in play. Yeah, it's just really unfortunate that Sam wasn't able to, like, have Rahul put down the Gigas somehow. Because, again, that's what you would want to Lost Zone here. Gonna draw a couple extra cards. Still don't see any way to get to a fresh Mew VMAX. Oh, no, we drew the Mew VMAX. Okay. So, yeah, might attack with that this turn. I also believe that Rahul put up the Regieleki because he has another one in his hand. So if Sam is able to do something like the Marnie, it may actually not benefit Rahul to have put the Regieleki there necessarily. But that's exactly the play that I would have done, knowing that a different Regi has to get knocked out. Might as well put one up into your hand that... put one into the active that you already have in hand so you can immediately replace it. I think Sam might have recognized that, so goes ahead and uses the boss's orders to bring back up the Regidrago so that then we can knock this out on this turn. We are going to use our third and final Genesect. We've used our supporter for turn. If we do not get a double turbo, we are... Holy crap. He plays 3 Forest Seal Stones? That seems like way overkill, dude. You want to play 1 to 2 of those. You can only use 1 in a game. Yeah. Anything above 2 is overkill. I play 2 just so I can make sure I see it. It's cram food. But, yeah, 3 just seems like way too much. I guess it makes it so your opponent's lost vacuums are not as good, but whatever. So we are going to have to retreat back into this Mew VMAX that is already damaged. Again, not ideal for Samuel. You want to have that fresh one up so you can force the Regigigas Choice Belt turn. make Rahul have as many cards as he possibly needs in order to take the knockout. By having this one active, now Rahul can take the knockout with any of the Regis that he has in play. Rahul still needs to get the 2 other Regis into play. However, he has both of those already in hand. So we are going to see the ability to take the knockout. Again, did not need Choice Belt. And the Ordinary Rod is coming up as well. We are going to shuffle back in a couple of Regis. Since the Steel is active right now and the Lost City is still in play, we're going to want to see that other Steel go back into the deck so we have a replacement for next turn. Rahul will again only have access to the 1 Regi Steel for the match if this one that is in the active gets knocked out and Lost Zoned. So here we go. We are going to power up Steel with the Ancient Wisdom. We are going to scoop up net our Regigigas, use it a second time. He immediately rebenched it. So if he wasn't going to play the research, I would have disagreed with rebenching it. I would have held it, but since he really wanted to go for that research, I guess that's okay. He can use this Regigigas one more time, so he will be able to put another few energies into play. So he is going to charge up the Regigigas itself. It does have double twin energy and gift energy now, so it is ready to go on the next turn. He's going to have to hope, though, that Samuel does not have the double cross switcher. Yeah, if Sam is able to go for the double cross switcher and then gets a 3rd Mew VMAX in play, Rahul's going to have to go through all of those without access to his Ancient Wisdom. So that might make this a little iffy, but Rahul is down to 1 prize card. He could end up just being able to one-shot a Genesect V that's on the bench at some point. So we'll have to see if it's too late for Sam or if he still has a chance here. Looks like we do get the double turbo finally. So we will be able to take a knockout here. We are going to definitely want to draw into the cross switchers. I haven't seen any cross switchers from Samuel yet. We are going to quick ball away Marnie. And again, this is a turn where you can play Roxanne, but since the Regigigas that you want to knock out and the active that you're more likely going to be knocking out both have gift energies, Roxanne doesn't really do much of anything right now. You could still play it to redraw a fresh hand of 6, but it doesn't really do anything to your opponent. Usually you want to play Roxanne just to limit your options from your opponent. 13 minutes left, less than. So they definitely do not really have time for a game 3, it does not feel like. So if Rahul does not win this match, it may be a tie just because, again, Samuel did not scoop that game 1 when he should have. So we are going to use the Fusion Strike system yet again, draw an extra couple of cards. We see, I think that's a Path to the Peak in hand. We have an Ultra Ball. We can search for another Mew VMAX and then still have 1 more Genesect left to use. It would also be nice to be able to bench another thing like an Oricorio. Oh no, that's a big Parasol. Thought that was a Path. That's a big Parasol. So we are going to go for the Mew VMAX. Do not have very many cards left in deck. So maybe he's not playing cross switchers at all, since I have not seen any yet. I did hear that quite a lot of people cut cross switchers from their Mew decks, and I really do not understand why, because usually Mew wins the game off of cross switchers. Then you have less ways to retreat your Pokemon. You can just lose to a boss on a Genesect. Yeah, he's not playing any cross switchers. So we do see the boss's orders is coming up to bring up the Regigigas. We could also see Rahul just hard attach twice to the Regidrago and then put a Choice Belt on it, boss up a Genesect V, and that could be the game. I don't believe he's played boss in this game yet for Rahul here. So we are going to put the Steel up. It is fully powered, so might as well. We do have, looks like maybe we top decked that Aurora energy, so we can put that down on the Drago. Rahul is going to Heavy Ball. Look at his one prize card remaining. He's like, hey, that's pretty good. No reason not to do that. The Heavy Ball he had likely already gotten off of his prize cards because I believe he did play it earlier in the game. So yeah, we're going to attach this Aurora energy. So yeah, Rahul just needs one more energy of any color on the next turn in order to attack with Drago. Has a couple in hand. He already has Speed Lightning, and he has, I believe, maybe a Capture, I think might have been the other one. So he can try to just go for the 2-shot on this Mew VMAX, or he can try to 1-shot Genesect at some point. I do believe I see Boss's Orders in his hand as well. So Rahul does have some of the ways to win the game already in his hand, but he does not have the ability to Ancient Wisdom anymore. So it is just hard attaches. He is going to have to win off the backs of this Steel and Drago. So it does not matter which of these two Pokemon Samuel knocks out this next turn here. He is going to have to be able to retreat into that Mew VMAX that is on the bench, put a double colorless energy on that and attack with that, and then force his opponent to have the boss, which is already in hand. He also has a Serena in hand as well, it looks like. So Rahul has, again, everything he needs in his hand to win. So this is the turn where you would like to see a Roxanne or a Marnie. Even putting the Roxanne on the screen, because maybe Samuel has it in hand and is considering playing it. I think that you definitely have to do it. With the way Rahul's hand is right now, Marnie is a lot better, because you're putting 2 energies and 2 boss gusting options onto the bottom of the deck. Obviously, Samuel does not have access to that information, so will more likely be trying to go for the Roxanne if possible. He has a Judge as well, but again, since you will be shuffling... since you will be shuffling Rahul's hand into the deck with that, I don't think that that's the ideal way to go about it. I think that I would be using the Genesect to try to find a Marnie or a Roxanne. We already saw him discard 1 Marnie, and we have a couple Judges in hand, so maybe Samuel is just playing the 1 Marnie that's already been discarded. So I think the best way to go about it would be to Roxanne, and instead we see a Roseanne's backup. That will be recycling Energy, Stadium, and Pokemon back into the deck. Yeah, shuffle a Pokemon, choose one or more. Shuffle a Pokemon from discard into deck, shuffle a tool from discard into deck, shuffle a Stadium from discard into deck, shuffle Energy from discard into deck. So he chooses 3 of those and ends up shuffling those in. Looks like we have discarded the Oricorio as well. I'm not sure why we would have discarded that at any point, because that definitely helps with some of the math. Allows you to draw more cards at the very least. I mean, I guess at this point now, it's not good to bench, but earlier in the game. So we are seeing the Rotom Phone yet again. We're going to pick 1 card to put to the top of the deck. Don't really think Samuel has much of anything else that's very good left in deck, especially since he's already used his supporter for turn. So Rahul already has the game in hand. So unless Samuel has a way to force up Reggie Rock or Reggie Ice and Psychic Leap, I don't know what else Sam can even do to try to win the game, because then off of that you're trying to deck out Rahul, and Rahul still might have the energy in deck in order to retreat, and plus you do not have a lot of cards left in deck for Samuel here. So yeah, I don't see any routes that Samuel can take in order to win this game, or even make this game into a tie. So even if Samuel was up a game and tied this one, being able to tie the entire match, I don't even see enough time left on the clock in order to make this individual game a tie. So we are seeing the gift energy go off. We promote Drago. We're going to attach. We're going to Serena up the Mew, we're not going to know whether we fist bump or handshake because COVID rules are a little unclear on that right now. And that is the game. Rahul wins very convincingly 2-0. Did take quite a bit of time. However, yeah, that was his match to win. That was just a landslide victory. Very unfortunate for Samuel. Not playing the cross switchers, playing the Roseanne's backup. Just some really odd inclusions into the deck. Inclusions and exclusions that made it so he really just did not have a chance against Regis whatsoever, even with the lost cities. So, hope you guys enjoyed. As always, do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe because that feeds the YouTube algorithm. He is hungry. He's starving. Please feed him. We are at about, I think, 15% of watch time is from subscribers right now. So, if you subscribe, we can try to increase that number. And that will be it for this round. We will see you guys with the next round of the Pokemon Knoxville Trading Card Game Regional Championships. We will see you then.